You ever had that feeling, that sudden, icy draft in a once warm room? It often comes from a friend you've poured your heart and soul into, someone you've always bent over backward for. Then, one day, you don't, you can't, you choose yourself, and suddenly, there's a chill, a distance, a resentment you can almost taste in the air, but you can't quite put your finger on why. Let me tell you, my friend, you're not imagining it. It took me years and a lot of heartache to understand a profound secret about human connection, one that Machiavelli hinted at centuries ago. It's this: they hate you not for who you are, but for the mirror you hold up to their own weakness when you refuse to need them. Your light doesn't create their darkness. It just makes it impossible for them to ignore. If you've ever felt that, if this truth is hitting you right in the chest, let me know in the comments. Just type, "I am the mirror," or a simple 777 to signal that you feel this frequency. Go ahead and subscribe, because you've just found your tribe. Let's be real for a minute. The universe is all about energy and vibration, and here's a law I had to learn the hard way. People fundamentally despise what they can't control. When you start living your life authentically, when you stand firm in your own divine truth, your very presence becomes an uncomfortable reflection for some. It's not you they hate. It's the divine mirror you've become. Think about it. This mirror doesn't lie. It shows them their own insecurities, their hidden envy, the fears they've neatly tucked away. Your strength, your refusal to be swayed, suddenly shines a spotlight on what they feel they lack. And that, my friend, is where the resentment is born. This animosity, it's a sneaky thing. It almost never shows up as a big, dramatic confrontation. Oh no, it's much more subtle. It's a poison that drips into the conversation through tiny cracks of politeness. You'll feel it in a backhanded compliment. You'll see it in a smile that doesn't quite reach the eyes. It's in the friendly advice that feels more like a veiled criticism, a suggestion meant to gently nudge you back into the box they had you in. I used to think I was doing something wrong, that I'd somehow failed them. But I've come to see those moments as sacred proof. It's the universe showing you, clear as day, that you've become inconvenient to their illusions. You've disrupted the story they were comfortable with, the one where you played a supporting role to their needs. And please, let go of the idea that you can be universally liked. It's a beautiful thought, but it's an illusion. No soul walking a true path of awakening ever is. I look around and I see so many people living in these invisible chains forged from a desperate, aching need to be accepted. They sand down the edges of their personality, they soften their opinions, they betray their own divine instincts just to fit in. Their soul is screaming, but they silence it to stay in the warm, but ultimately suffocating, circle of social approval. They've learned the unspoken rules of the collective. Don't be too different. Don't be too direct. And for heaven's sake, don't make anyone uncomfortable with your clarity. If you're here, listening to my voice right now, I have a feeling you already know the soul-crushing cost of that life. That constant, exhausting self-monitoring. The knot of anxiety in your stomach, wondering how every little thing you do is being perceived. The cheap, hollow feeling of telling small lies just to keep the peace. So here is the divine law you must embrace. You cannot hold on to your integrity and be liked by everyone. You cannot speak your truth and not stir resentment in those who are comfortable with their illusions. That is the sacred, and sometimes painful, choice that stands before you. You know, Machiavelli made this chillingly accurate observation. He said that men are quicker to forget the death of their own father than the loss of their inheritance. What he was really talking about is this deep, primal part of human nature. People can forgive almost any offense, any cruelty, except for the one that exposes their absolute dependence on you. The moment you stand tall in your own strength, the moment you withdraw that easy, predictable compliance, the moment you refuse to be manipulated by their flattery or their guilt trips, that's when you create a profound discomfort. You've essentially torn away the comfortable mask they put on you, the role they assign to you without ever asking. And for that, they will resent you, whether they ever admit it out loud or not. They'll call you arrogant, won't they? The minute you set a clear boundary, they'll call you cold because you're no longer a bottomless well of emotional labor for them to draw from. They'll slap the label selfish on you because you finally chose your own well-being over their unending demands. But look closer, my friend. In truth, they aren't condemning you. They are condemning the raw, undeniable threat you now pose to their sense of control. They accuse you of pride to mask the flicker of their own envy. They see your withdrawal as a harsh judgment because, in the quietest parts of their soul, they know they are guilty of needing you, of using you far too much. You have to learn to see it, to recognize the pattern for what it is. I started paying attention, and I want you to do the same. Notice who goes quiet and cold when you set a boundary. Observe who suddenly starts gossiping about you when you finally say no. Mark the people who conveniently forget all the kindness you've ever shown them, the second you stop serving their needs. These aren't just random, hurtful acts. They are the precise, predictable reactions of people losing their grip on you. And if you continue to crave that universal love, you will surrender your freedom to get it. You will become a puppet, my friend, pulled by 1,000 invisible strings, all because you couldn't bear the thought of being disliked. Have you ever stopped to ask yourself why? Why do you feel that pang of guilt for disappointing people who would drain you dry without a second thought? Why do you find yourself apologizing for simply existing in a way that doesn't make them comfortable? It's because we've been trained, conditioned from a young age, to believe that harmony is the ultimate good, that any conflict is a personal failure, and that being liked by others is the ultimate proof of our worth. But let me tell you a truth. I had to learn through fire. Harmony without respect is nothing more than submission. Peace that is bought with your own self-betrayal isn't peace at all. It's a quiet, slow enslavement. So you have to make a choice. It's one of the hardest you'll ever make. Do you want to be liked, or do you want to be respected? One is easy. The other will cost you everything. And yet, it's the only one that will ever set you truly free.